Hi, we're Andrew and Jen from rural Ontario, Canada. We've been married for 12 years and have 6 children, 4 who are adopted through the foster care system and 2 biological. We also have fostered 10 other children in the past. If someone were to have told us 10 years ago that this would be our life, we definitely would have laughed, or maybe run very quickly in the other direction. 6 years ago, we started on our journey toward adoption, not really knowing what we were getting ourselves into.
In college, I helped out with a homeless ministry called Isaiah 58. I admit that I hadn't really read Isaiah 58 until I started volunteering at this ministry. But if you read the chapter, it's basically about God saying, I'm not satisfied with you giving me lip service. I want you to really live it. So, in a nutshell, one day we decided to take these verses seriously and pursue adoption. And it's basically as simple as that. We had no great call, no voice from the sky saying, you should do this. No, we simply looked at what the word said and decided we had better do it.
So we've had many statements directed our way during the adoption process, but by far the most common has been, I admire what you're doing. It takes a special person. I certainly could never do it. And we wanted to make this video partially as a response to that comment, because the truth is, there's really not very many people who can't do what we are doing. But there are a whole lot of people who won't. But perhaps for you, it's not so much that you won't do it, but that maybe you just haven't had your eyes opened to, all the pain that's really out there. We live in Canada, and it's a really prosperous first world country. But in Canada, there are still over 20,000 crown wards sitting in the foster care system waiting to be chosen for adoption. The sad fact is most of them never will be. And there are even more children than this who simply need good foster parents to take care of them. Beyond that, Canadian Aboriginal youth have the highest suicide rate in the world. Yes, you heard that right, in the world. You do not need to travel to the depths of Africa to find a child in need. They're here, in your own neighborhood.
Like us, you might be wondering why there are so many children in Canada who will never find a forever home. From what we can see, there are probably 3 reasons. The first is that our nation's children's aid societies are a bit of a bureaucratic and logistical nightmare. This scares people off, and many give up after a year or 2 of working with the system. Being regular folk without much sway at the government level, Andrew and I found we couldn't really address this problem. We can, however, tell you something that isn't well advertised in Canada. Adopting through CAS is free. That's right, not $40,000 or more, like private or overseas adoption. It's free. And in many cases, the government offers ongoing subsidies if you adopt a child with special needs, an older child, or multiple children. This really takes the pressure off of many families, allowing one parent to stay home with the children.
Another major barrier to these kids being adopted is that a lot of time people don't want to adopt what they see as a broken child. So if they do want to adopt, it's a rosy-cheeked infant, no past, a clean slate. And well, we know this is the case because we used to be those people. And it took a lot of years of heartache and sorrow for God to finally wake us up to the fact that an older child, which the world might see as damaged goods, is, no less worthy of love in a family than a rosy-cheeked infant. And really, if God loves us and forgives us in all of our sinfulness, our mess, and our brokenness, then why should we not also extend that love to a child who just, they just don't have it all together?
The third and final barrier that we see as the most common problem and barrier to adoption is this. We're selfish. That's basically it. We are selfish. Will it be hard? Yes. Will you get kicked, yelled at, and called nasty names? Yes. Will you feel like giving up 1,000 times? Probably. But we're asking you to help a child put their broken pieces back together because the love of Christ compels you, because He loves them and so should you. If I could, I would reach through this screen and grab your arm. I'd tell you that it's time to stop believing the lie that this life is about me. Ours is called the selfie generation for a reason. And all this living for ourselves has resulted in higher rates of depression, anxiety, mental illness. When we live for ourselves, there really is no hope for us or for anyone around us. I'm an introvert who likes time to herself, and it was very hard for me to give up my space, my home, and my career aspirations to raise 6 children. Our biological daughters also had to give up a lot to welcome 4 siblings, but we had to weigh whether those reasons were justification to turn our backs on a national problem. So what if we had to give up something? What about the fact that our adopted daughter gave up the better part of her childhood moving from foster home to foster home? So what if we had to give up in order to give these children a real chance? It really seems like small and petty when I put it into perspective. If you were to come to our home right now, you might see children acting crazy. You might see tired parents. You might see a mess. But you would also see transformation. You would see lives that have literally been pulled back from the brink because God would not let us give up.
So we just wanted to encourage and maybe challenge you a bit. Maybe have you thought about adopting or maybe becoming a foster parent? Well, if you have, then pick up the phone and make that first call. It's really a simple, just first step that you can take. But if it's logistically impossible for you to go down that road right now, then, how about supporting someone who, is on that journey? You do something simple like just making them a meal or offering to clean their home. Just really invest in the lives of their children. Everybody needs a babysitter from time to time. And I'm sure that nobody would turn you down if you made that offer. But just, anything you can do, pray for them. There's so many ways that all of us can be involved.
At the end of Isaiah 58, that chapter I read in college, there's a promise. And the promise is this: if we spend ourselves on behalf of the needy, God will rebuild our lives and restore us. He will literally call us the repairer of what is broken. And I just think it would be so cool if the church in Canada became famous as the repairer of brokenness. So I guess we wanted to say, let's not just dream about it. Let's actually do it. It's never too late to start being a light in dark places. And we really hope after watching this video that you make today that day.